Alright guys, welcome back to this learning module. Today we're gonna talk about a new data structure in Python, which is the list. Okay, let me convert this to markdown and let's enter a new line. And how do we start off to create a list? First of all, we can create a list by having an object here, and we assign an empty list just like this. Okay, so this square bracket here represents a list, and right now we're gonna add in 1, 2 and 3 here. Okay, let's run this code here and let's return list A. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3 here. Each of these is an element within the list. Okay, so right now if we want to return the first element here, I'm gonna add in the square bracket and I add in 0 for the first element. Alright, if we execute the code here, it will return 1. Alright, so if I replace 0 and add in 2 here, basically this should return 3. Alright, because the element in a list always begins with 0. Alright, so this is element 0, element 1, element 2. Alright, so if I want to retrieve the value 3 inside this list here, I would need to call the second element inside our list. Okay, so right now if I run this code here, it will give me 3. Alright, so this is very straightforward. So right now let's do a for loop within a list. Okay, so I'm gonna say A equal to square bracket. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna add the element by itself for all of the element that we have in our list here. So we're gonna say I plus I which is the iterator here. Okay, and we're gonna say for I in the list of A here. Okay, and then we're gonna return the result of list A here. Alright, now let's run this query here. Now we get 2, 4 and 6 because 1 is gonna add with 1 here. Okay, 2 is gonna add with 2, 3 will be add with 3 here. Okay, so the result will be 2, 4 and 6. Alright, now let's create a new kind of data structure which is called as the tuple. Alright, so a tuple basically is represented by the normal brackets. Alright, so I'm gonna add in the element of 2, 3, 4 within this tuple here, and I'm gonna return the result of the tuple. Alright, so I'm gonna execute this code here and it will give me the elements within the tuple. Alright, so right now if I want to convert a tuple back to a list, it's pretty straightforward. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say C equal to list, and I'm gonna add in the tuple. Alright, now I'm gonna return the result of C here, and let's run this code here. Alright, so the tuple B here has been converted to a list here. Alright, so what if we have a text of string? Alright, let's say I have a text of string here, and let me put in welcome here. So if we convert this to a list here, what will happen? Right, so I'm gonna create a new list D that is the converted string to our list. Alright, and I'm gonna call our new list D here, and let's execute this code here. And right now we can see our new list is comprises of each of the character as an element within the list here. Alright, so that basically covers the basic that we need to know about lists. And in the next module we're gonna talk about how do we perform a little transformation for our list data structures. Alright, that's all for the lesson today. Thanks for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye bye. Alright guys, welcome back to this learning module. Now that we know how do we convert our data structures into a list, today we're gonna talk about the difference between appending a list versus extending a list. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to a markdown and I enter a new line. So first of all, let's take a look at this string here. So we have the string here and each of the character has been converted as a single element within a list, right? So what can we do if we want this string here to be converted as a complete string that will only resides as one single element inside a list? So we can say E equal to, let's start off with an empty list and we're gonna insert our string within the empty list here. Alright, now let's take a look at the output of the new list that we have. So we have one complete string here that is occupying only a single element within a list here. Okay, now let's create a new list and let's insert 2 here. Alright, so we're gonna append these two lists here to form a new list. Alright, and right now if we want to append list F into list E, we're gonna use E dot append and then let's add in a parenthesis and we add in F here. Alright, now let's run this code here and let's display our list E. Alright, let's enter E here and let's run our code again, and right now we can see our list F has been appended into our list of E here. So right now we can see there is a nested list inside our original list here. Alright, so right now if we call the first element in the list, it will be the string welcome, right? So let's try it out. So now we can get welcome here, and right now if we want to get the string 2, let's change this to 1 and let's see what happens, right? So let's run this code here and we can get the second string but it's in a list, right? So if we want to get the string within a list, we're gonna add in a new square bracket to hit on the nested list itself. So I'm gonna add in a 0 here so that I can get the raw text without the list here, right? So let's run this code here and right now I can get the raw string that is inside our nested list here. Alright, so right now I'm gonna try to extend a new string here. Let's say Python. Okay, I'm gonna extend this new list here into our list E. Alright, so I'm gonna say E.extend G. Alright, and display our extended list E here. Alright, and right now we can see the extend function here did not append the whole list of G here into our original list, right? So we can see the extend here actually is appending the elements within the list into the original list here without having a nested list being created to the original list here. Alright, so I hope this clarifies the difference between append and extend, and in the next video we're gonna demo on how do we perform numeric operators into a numeric list. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video and I can't wait to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye bye. Now if you are interested to know more about analytics, you can subscribe my YouTube channel where I will be sharing more info about analytics. Alright, so subscribe my channel here so that you can get more info about analytics. Alright, so yep, once again thanks for enrolling into this course and I hope to see you in my YouTube channel. Alright, so yep, that's all for today. Thanks and bye bye. Alright guys, welcome back to this learning module. In the previous lessons, we have talked about the difference between appending a list versus extending a list. Today we're gonna talk more about numeric list. Alright, so I'm gonna change this to markdown and I enter a new line here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create two lists here. So the first list is gonna be 1, 2, 3, and the second list will be 4, 5, 6. Alright, so what I'm gonna do with these two lists here is I'm gonna concatenate both lists together. So I'm just gonna say A plus B. Alright, now I'm gonna display our concatenated list here, and let's run our code here. And here we got our concatenated list from A to B here. Alright, so what if we want to do something like the first element of A added with the first element in B? Alright, so to do that, we're gonna introduce a zip function to zip both of the lists into two separate series of iterations. Alright, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create a new list. Let's say addition equal to I plus j for I and j in the zipped of A and B here. Alright, now I'm gonna return our new list here, and let's run our code here. And right now we can see our new list is reading 1 plus 4, 2 plus 5, and 3 plus 6 here. So using a zip function here, we'll zip our list into two different series. So the first series will be I, second series will be J here. Alright, so we're gonna say the first iteration of I here added with the first iteration of J here. Okay, now what if our list here contains a string value? Alright, let's say I'm gonna have 4 here as a string. Let's see what is going to happen to our output, right? So I'm gonna run this code here, and right now we can see there is an extra text 4 that is returned as our output in the concatenated list here. So what will happen to our addition when we have zipped both of the lists together? Alright, let's run this code here, and right now we can see the string 4 is not returned in our new list here, right? This is because the iteration stopped at the third iteration, because it could not add the fourth element inside the list for the first series, because the second series does not have the fourth element, right? So what we can do is we're gonna add in the fourth element inside our second series in our list. So I'm gonna add in 5 here, and let's check it out what will happen to our new concatenated list here. So we have the text 5 added into the new list here, and let's run our code to add both series of lists together. Alright, now we can see 4 and 5 is a string here, is a text, which is why when we add up both text together, it will just append both of the text together to be resided in the fourth element of the new list. Okay, what if we add in a number and a text as the fourth element in the list? Alright, so let's see if Python detect this as an error, right? So I'm gonna run this code here, and I'm gonna run the second code here, and yep, we couldn't concatenate string with an integer, right? So Python will return error when we have a string element concatenated with a numeric element. Alright, so let me just add the string back to the second series and run this code here. Next, we're going to talk about how do we multiply the elements within a list. Okay, so I'm going to create a list here, and I'm gonna multiply the list 2 times of our current original list here. Alright, let's display our new list here as C. Alright, now let's run this code here, and we can see instead of having the values inside the list to be multiplied by 2, this actually returns 2 times the size of the list for C here. Alright, so this is something interesting, but what we want to achieve here is we want a multiplication of 2 within all of the values inside our list here. The result we want to achieve here is we want to get a new list with 1 multiplied with 2, 2 multiplied with 2, which will give you 4, and 3 multiplied with 2, which will give you 6, right? So I'm gonna create a new list 1, 2, 3, and for this list here I'm gonna say 2 multiplied with I for I in the list of D here. Alright, now I'm gonna return D as the output, and let's run our code here, and right now we can see our values within the list has been multiplied by 2 here. Alright, so what if we have a string element within the list? Alright, let's run this code here, and this will return 2 times of the elements that is appearing in the list. Alright, so yeah, this basically covers the operators that we can use in a numeric list. In the next lessons, we're gonna introduce you a new data structure which is called as the data dictionary. Alright, so yep, that's all for the lesson today. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I can't wait to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye bye. Alright guys, welcome back to this learning module. In the previous lessons, we have covered how to create a numeric list, perform various kinds of operations within the list. Today we're going to talk about a new data structure, which is the Python dictionary. Okay, now let me change this to markdown, and I enter a new line. So a dictionary usually comes with a combination of keys and values. Let's say, for example, we have a student here, and we're gonna store all of the student information within a dictionary. Alright, so a dictionary always embrace in a curly brackets. So we're gonna start off with the key. Alright, so the key will be the student name, and let's add in a colon. Alright, so whatever that has been added in after the column will be the value. Alright, so let's say the student name to be Adam. Alright, and maybe let's add in a comma, and we can add in a new pair of key here. Let's say we add in an age here, add in a colon, and this will be the age of Adam. Let's say 20. Let's enter a new line. And how do we retrieve the information for our student here? Alright, so we can say student 1, and we're gonna add in a square bracket, and we're gonna call the key here. Alright, so we're gonna call out the name of student 1 here. Alright, now let's run this code here, and right now we can see the name for student 1 is actually Adam, right? So what if we want to add in additional information such as the student's email into this dictionary here? Alright, so we don't have the key for email here, and we're gonna add in the email to be one of the key inside this dictionary here. Alright, so I'm gonna add in student 1 email, and let's put in equal to, let's put in AAA and g.com. Alright, now how do we know this information has been stored into student 1? We can take a look at all of the key and values that has been residing in the dictionary of student 1. Alright, Now let's run this code here, and right now we can see the information for email here has been stored inside the dictionary for student 1. Alright, now to remove the email here, we can call the delete function to remove student 1 square bracket, and let's enter email. Okay, now let's display all of the key and values inside this dictionary here, and right now we can see the email information has been removed. Alright, now what if we are only interested to know all the key within a dictionary? Okay, so we can say print the student1 dot keys. Alright, now let's add in a bracket here, and let's run this code here, and right now we can see all the keys here are name and age here. Alright, subsequently we can also print all of the values that is residing in student 1. Alright, we're just gonna add this student1 dot values, and let's run this code here, and right now we can see the values that is residing in our dictionary is Adam and 20. Alright, so yep, this basically covers all the data lookup within a Python dictionary. In the next module, we're gonna take a look at how do we convert multiple lists into a Python dictionary. Alright, so yep, that's all for the lesson today. Thanks for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye bye. Alright guys, welcome back to this learning module. Now that we have learned how do we create and store information inside a dictionary, let's take a look on how do we convert list into dictionary. Alright, now let's change this to a markdown, and let's enter a new line here, and I'm gonna create a new list here which will store all the keys. Inside this list here we have the name, the age, and the email. Okay, now let's enter a new line, and we're gonna have another list to store all the values within the list here. Alright, so the name is gonna be, let's say we have John. The age here, let's put in 22. Email, let's put in qwe@eliasg.com. Alright, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use the zip function to merge the key together with the value to be converted to a dictionary. Alright, so we're gonna need an empty dictionary to store all the keys and values here. So let's define a new dictionary, student2 here, and let's enter a new dictionary here. Let's enter a new line. So we're gonna say for I and J in zip. So we're gonna zip these two lists into two different series. We're gonna use the zip function to zip key and values. So we're gonna call the function update that is available in a dictionary, and we're gonna add in a parenthesis here. Inside the parenthesis, we're gonna add in a curly braces, and for I will be the key. Okay, so we're gonna enter I here, and let's add in a colon. So J will be the values, right? So this will be J here. Oh, sorry, this will be J here, and let's enter a new line. We're gonna display our new dictionary. Alright, now let's run this code here, and now we can see our keys and values has been mapped accordingly, right? So instead of having two separate lists here, we can convert these two lists here to become a dictionary with the combination of keys and values, right? So yep, that's all for the tutorial for today. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I can't wait to see you in the next module. Thanks and bye bye.